Hi guys, welcome back to Friends of Football Podcast episode 8. We're gonna get to that by the way.
For me, I find those comments very wanting because why would Oliech play for fame at his age and after what he has achieved? This is a guy who's played in the Champions League. He's played against AC Milan. He's played against Real Madrid. He's played against Zlatan. As in,
for you to play your best football, or for you to be the most productive athlete that you can be, you need money. There's a youngster coming from Western Stima going to Gor. He's a young guy. He's to play. Don't chase the ball. We know he can play. Elijah, we were with you when Berkane came here. We saw what Kojolaba looks like, man. You need money.
He's actually keeping fit. Akirudi sasa next season atakuwa na bonda watu mbaya because amewaka kwa construction site.
So we just want to give a special mention to KEFWA and to Jeff Kinyanjui for delivering a motorcycle to Jeremiah Wanjala, who was diagnosed with cancer. Hi guys, welcome back to Friends of Football Podcast episode 8. Very sorry, Maze. Last time we couldn't manage to record due to unavoidable circumstances, but today we are back again, and today, as you can see, we have put on some uniforms, lakini kuna mse ametuangusha kama Atletico Madrid. This guy was supposed to come with a 21-page report of how Atletico is just a useless team.
Lakini mbona tusemi nilisema PSG itapiga Atalanta? Mbona tuongee tu Atletico?
It's step by step, bro. Tunaanza na Atletico kwanza because this was their best chance to win the UEFA Champions League. Team ya Ronaldo ilikuwa imetolewa. So mlikuwa mnasema Atletico hajaitolewa na timu haina Ronaldo, si ndio?
Sasa so wacha tujiintroduce. Unajua umeenda tu straight into the wacha tujiintroduce. Unasema hata Elio huko.
Basi argument ni mbaya, hakuna answer. Tuchape tu.
Guys, I'm sorry. I was just happy. I just had to rub it in. I'm called Elijah huko.
Imran Otieno back again like we never left.
Ugutu. At least leo Ray Torres ayuko tulikuwa na conversation mbaya jo. Acha tu hata I hope wherever he is.
A good party explanation why Ray Torres is not here.
Unfortunately Ray is not around, but he'll be around. I'm not going to give you the explanation since he didn't give me consent to say. So until next time, next weekend, hopefully he'll be around and hopefully each one of us
ilikuwa tumuingilie
around.
Yaani Atletico hata wawas tunapiga Liverpool.
Hapana, history today walituchapa fair and square lakini
alafu Leipzig
ile kisigino ya
Liverpool iko down.
I don't know where you guys are getting the courage to even talk about Atletico.
Mimi niko team Bayern.
Unaona vile niliandika kwa group. At least tuliwachapa mbele ya fans. Wasiwaisema ati hakukuwa na fan feeling kwa imejaa na walikuwa naimba ile ngoma yao.
But anyway,
lakini anyway tulipigwa man.
Nakumbuka Klopp after hiyo game ya Atletico na Liverpool pale Wanda Metropolitano. What did he say? Welcome to Anfield. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. But well, that's football, you know. But guys, let's just get down to business. So this week we're going to talk about various issues happening in the local scene, and we'll talk about the KEFWA electoral board, which announced the election dates. However, there was a petition which was placed in SDT yesterday against the FKF electoral board, against FKF itself, and against the chairperson of the FKF electoral board, who is Kenta Estikolo. So we'll talk about that. Just brush on it, kidogo. Then there's somebody who made let me not call him somebody. Because let me put some respect. I'm sorry, legend. Let me put some respect. He goes by the name the Legend.
Dennis the Menace
Oliech. Dennis Oliech made some comments regarding Gor Mahia. We're going to talk about that. He even mentioned the captain and the former assistant captain, Kenneth Muguna and Josh Onyango, the way they defended the way they defended the office when Oliech and Kahata were fighting for the rights of the players when they were not getting paid. We'll talk about Sofa Parker managing to secure a 77 million deal, 2-year deal with Betika, the betting gaming firm. And then we'll look at the KPL transfers, the guys who have made moves from one team to the other, from AFC to Wazito, then there's the Berlin Wall moving to the Tanzanian Premier League, which is good for him, better money, a bigger team. So we'll talk about that also, and then we'll head on to the international football. And unfortunately, we can't talk much about international football. We'll just focus on Europe. That's the international football for today, and we'll be talking about the UEFA Champions League and the Europa League, together with some of the transfers that have happened and some which are potentially going to happen. So stick around and don't touch that dial. Don't usitoke, because we have a lot in store for you today. So let's start with the FKF electoral board. Well, let's call it the FKF elections. The FKF elections were supposed to take place last year. However, they haven't taken place because of court proceedings that have been happening ever since. Twice the elections have been suspended by the SDT, and now the elections were going to happen. The electoral board were headed by Mrs. Tikolo. They managed to get a roadmap for the elections. They set the date for the county elections, which was supposed to happen in September 19th. Then the national which was supposed to happen in October 17th. However, that was the announcement they made on August 11th. However, right now, as of yesterday, there was a petition which was placed in the SDT, and FKF was sued by 8 aspirants who petitioned the sports court to declare the recent electoral guidelines released by FKF electoral board as null and void. So it's been a lot of back and forth. It's so unfortunate. We are lucky in a way because there's no football currently, but it's unfortunate that our football has to undergo this back and forth, a lot of politics, and yet the beautiful game is suffering. So as of now, it's unsure whether the elections will be held on the 19th of September and October 17th. So we'll give you an update on that when we get further information on whether the elections are going to take place. So what the petitioners just want, they want the eligibility criteria for candidates in the FKF elections guidelines and regulations issued by FKF electoral board on August 11th to be declared null and void, as I said, and they just want a fair election. The eligibility criteria is what they're really crying about, and also the electoral codes, which are not too fair for the aspirants. It seems to be favoring the incumbents, and it's really sad that. Okay, I think Nick is afraid, and I don't know why he's afraid. And because if he knows that he has done a good job, then he should just go ahead, and just make the playing field level. What do you guys think?
For me, I think there's supposed to be rules and regulations. Like, for you to run for presidency, you need to meet some certain standards. And unfortunately for FKF, they've set up strict standards which are not met by everybody. And for me, I think some of those should be loosened a bit, because one has to be the chairman of a club at some point for some period of time, and some of these things, they don't make sense. Because if you look at other countries, anybody can buy. Like in Ghana, a journalist actually won the election and became the federation's president. So I think some of these rules should be loosened up a bit to enable other people to vie for the elections, which will be fair. And as you said, if I'm confident I did a good job during my tenure, I shouldn't be afraid of competition. That's all I have to say.
Alright, man. Guys, what do you think about the FKF election saga? Just give us your thoughts and comments on the comment section below there. Well, let's continue now with the conversation, and before we go to the big story, which is Oliech and the comments he made, we just want to mention the Betika deal with Sofapaka, a 2-year deal worth 77 million Kenyan shillings, which is really good because it shows that Sofapaka are being trusted by Betika. We have to laud the kind of work that the Presda is doing at Sofapaka. It's really commendable. At least now the players are going to get paid. The first time they had a deal, it was what Kenya shillings, 15 million shillings, and now in 2019 it was 35 million Kenya shillings, and now it's 77 and it's a 2-year deal. So that means it's 38.5 around there million Kenya shillings. So it's a good deal at least. Wachezaji sasa ugutu.
Yeah, wacha maplayer walipo mazee.
I know the struggles you
I
guys are going
have a
through.
story for you guys, but I'll save it for when we talk about Oliech. I think it's good, man. Like, I think any progress. Also, maybe they can get better players, and hopefully they can use it just to improve. I don't know the facilities. I'm not sure where they train, but hopefully Pia is our idea to get much better pitch and just help them finish in a better position on the league last season.
Also, the bonuses, the allowances, the wages being paid on time, it gives a player motivation to keep on going and going, man.
Yeah, I think, as I said, when BetKing came on board and BetSafe also came on board, like, it raises the playing field. So I think Betika wanted to match BetKing's and BetSafe deals, and if they offered a lesser deal or just the same deal that they had previously, it wouldn't show growth and it would be bad on their brand. So I think they wanted to grow their brand, and it's good. It's mutually beneficial for the betting company and Sofapaka, because Sofapaka will get to pay their bills and they'll get to sign good players. As we've seen, they've released a couple of players. Some have retired, some have moved on to other teams, some are still free agents. So I think it will be very good for Sofapaka, and I think Sofapaka is one of the few clubs that actually changes their jerseys every season. So I think it shows the structures in the club are good, and I hope that money will be put into good use.
Well, I saw on Facebook some people are commenting that is little money. I was like, huh?
Kenyans are not haitoseka. Hata tukipewa hiyo 60 million, people will still say, they'll break it down per month, that is so and so, and they have a squad of 30 players, so if you pay this, as in, it's progress, man. You don't just build Rome in a day.
Yeah. Look, I think I used to reason the same way, but I've gotten to a point where I realized if it's gonna better the life of someone, no matter how little or how much it is, itawasaidia sana. I've played football to a certain extent back KPL. I think we enjoy those struggles. No matter how little, it's always significant.
Absolutely. And also, it's not that when you have the title sponsor, he's supposed to cater for every expense in the club. You still have room to have other sponsors. So the title sponsor coming in, he can actually cater for maybe 70% of the expenses, and then you look for another sponsor. Then remember, there's also the BetKing money, which is supposed to be wired into the accounts, which is 8 million. So you have that 38.5 then plus the 8 million, that is 46.5. And also if the gate collections, if they manage to get merchandise if they sell. So it's not a small amount of money, it's quite substantial if you look at it that way. So guys, let's not complain. Let's be supportive and appreciate that the little that we have. KPL is not the English Premier League. We have a long way to get there. So slowly by slowly, tutafika, tuache pressure mingi.
We've talked about that, and nikakumbuka the debate we had in previous podcast episodes of the bus.
Oh.
And I remembered Sofapaka's bus, man. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I hope that 38 million, some of it can be used to buy a bus. It's not the most important thing, but
but now it's time to buy the bus. Presda, fanya mambo. All right, now let's head over to the big story. The big story now. Good to Zemaliza.
Elijah, just take it away.
Alright, Oliech this week made some remarks regarding his former team, and his immediate former team is Gor Mahia. He made remarks regarding the two captains, Kenneth Muguna and Josh Onyango, and also he made remarks regarding the club. He said it's a retirement home, and they are the record 19 Kenyan Premier League champions. They have won it 4 times consecutively. It's a retirement home, that's what he said. So let's first of all let's start with what he said regarding Kenneth Muguna and Josh Onyango. So he called them out and he said they were being used by the office to fight him and Kachi, who's Kahata, and it is quite unfortunate because the two of them were fighting for the players' rights. The players had not been paid. You know, you gotta eat, you gotta pay your bills, you gotta pay your rent, you gotta survive. So Oliech alikuwa na complain kuhusu they're not being paid, but Muguna and Onyango allegedly were being used by the office to fight Oliech and Kachi, and he was quite surprised that they left the club because of the same things they were fighting for. You know, they left the club because the club was not paying their bills. They're not paying their wages, their allowances. Gor iko na deni ya players kibao sana, and it's quite unfortunate because now they're losing their top players. Muguna is set to leave. Joash has left. He has signed with Simba. Boniface Omondi ametoka, Mapigano ametoka, and more could be leaving. Juma Balinya because of lack of cash.
Well, first of all, I think we need to look at it from this perspective. I think, as you rightly said, Gor Mahia are 19-time Kenya Premier League champions. They've won the cup 4 times in a row, and it could even be 8 if it were not for point deductions in 2016, where Tusker won the league due to crowd troubles. But Gor Mahia is the biggest team in Kenya, yet they're facing such challenges. I think it doesn't make sense to me. It honestly doesn't make sense because they've been into the CAF Confederations Cup in 2 seasons. They've gotten that money. They have a higher bargaining power when it comes to sponsorship deals because they know they can play continental football. They'll be representing Kenya next season in the CAF Champions League if they make it to the group stage. If they don't, they steal the Confederations Cup. As in, this is the biggest club, but they still have these challenges. For me, much needs to be done, and it shows how KPL is far much behind.
Good. Guys, in 2015-2016, I played in the NSL for League Ndogo. I was young. I think I was 19. So, your time, nilikuwa na form. Fortunately, I was coming from a middle class or upper middle class home, so I didn't need the money. But unfortunately, I was playing in a team that had guys from all walks of life. So it got to a point where we were not being financed. I think we had agreed a deal with the club where we were going to be paid $100 every month. Now we were paid this money, we were paid $50 once, and we continued pushing for 6 months, and we were not getting bad results. We were just withdrawing a lot of our games. So it got to a point where we agreed as a team that we are not going to play anymore. We're going to call the chairman so that we can chat our way forward. Guys, we spent the whole week organizing this strike. Friday reached. Saturday we were supposed to play against Nakumatt. We said we're not going for the Nakumatt game until we get some cash. That Friday afternoon, the chairman came and he said one thing that changed my life. He just asked the players around us, if you know I've not been sending you money, speak now. I'm telling you, of a team of 26 people, only like 10 guys. And that's when I realized we are not together. Everybody has their own interest. So Maze, I think Oliech is right. Sometimes you just have to fight for your rights. I think Oliech is a big player, but I think it gets to a point where you just have to get your dues.
You see, my biggest problem right now is that Oliech played for Gor. It was a year ago. Okay, this incident that he's talking about is a year ago. A majority of the people, okay, let me say the chairman of Gor Mahia then was Ambrose Rachier, and Gor recently had the elections and he was unopposed and is now the chairman. And now my question is, are things really going to change in Gor Mahia? You know,
okay, I think
we're doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
That is insanity, according to Einstein.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean, Imran, are we going to have, because this issue of Gor not having money, of a sponsor pulling out of the deal and then Gor Mahia just sinks. It's been there ever since time immemorial, and there's no concrete plan as to how Gor Mahia is going to forge a way forward.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned this in this podcast numerous times. I think management in Kenya is very
But now let's focus it on Gor Mahia.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Kwanza me, I want to move to the first half of, not even the first half, but the first comments of Oliech. He said that Gor Mahia is a retirement home. And he played there just because of fame. I mean,
we're going to get to that by the way.
For me, I find those comments very wanting, because why would Oliech play for fame at his age and after what he has achieved? This is a guy who's played in the Champions League. He's played against AC Milan. He's played against Real Madrid. He's played against Zlatan. As in, what fame do you need? As in, you've taken Kenya to the 2004 African Cup of Nations. You've even scored in the tournament. This guy is very famous. I don't think there's any person our age who doesn't know Oliech. So for me, those comments were unwarranted, and I don't know, they just didn't sit well with me, because why would you play for fame? And I agree that Gor Mahia is a retirement home, because Gor Mahia last season signed 17 players. 17!
Actually,
and
it's actually yesterday was exactly 1 year ago since they signed those 17 players.
Yeah, and almost half of those players have left. It shows the club, they don't have any direction, they don't know how to run the club, they don't know which philosophy to use. Because if you sign 17 players in one transfer window, as in, that is a whole team you're signing. What philosophy are you using to sign these players? What criteria are you using to sign some of these players? So, and also this season you'll see the same, because almost half have left. Josh has left. Those 17, almost half have left. The team is also crumbling right now because they don't have funds. So you need to sign players. And for me, I've never seen like a player who has come from the Gor Mahia academy and become a regular. There are very few.
But what do you think about what he said in terms of giving advice to the young players?
He's right.
He said they shouldn't go there because there's no point of you going there and you're not going to be paid your dues. But as a young footballer, are you really looking at the pay, or are you really looking at the exposure?
Guys, let me give you a short story to better explain this. So, when I was playing in the NSL, I played in the NSL my first year, I think was in 2014. I made, I think, 3 or 4 appearances towards the back end of the season, and I didn't score a single goal. In 2016, I came back. I was able to get some money, and I was actually spending about 40,000 Kenya shillings on my body alone, maintenance. That's what I'm eating. I got a personal trainer.
Was it a month?
It was every month.
Yeah.
40,000. Yeah, I got a personal trainer. I got a special diet regimen. I was working out at Impala, paying gym membership and buying supplements, recovery shakes, buying creatine. Those things would cost me, I think, about 15,000. In 6 months, I went from 72 kgs to 84 kgs. When the season started, I scored 7 goals in 3 games, and that took me to Thika United. What am I saying here? For you to play your best football, or for you to be the most productive athlete that you can be, you need money. There's a youngster coming from Western Stima going to Gor. It's a young guy. He needs to play. Ball, we know he can play. Elijah, we were with you when Berkani came here, man. We saw what Kojolaba looks like, man. You need money. In fact, as a footballer, actually, you shouldn't even be touching your salary. You should be surviving on your bonuses. And because, guys, you need cash. This thing is not a machine. It needs maintenance.
You need food, you need the supplement.
Other machine needs fuel.
Yeah, you don't just come there and say at Tupige. Hey, bro, wapi? You need. I mean, you guys watch football. You see the Europeans. Mbappe. You've seen his body differences. He's been from the time he was at Monaco to PSG. Guys are working on themselves.
Yeah.
So for me, it just boils down to you need finance for you to be the player you can be, and that guys know you to be. Yeah.
All right, guys, you tell us what you think. Ogutu has emphasized on the fact that on the point that the players need money, and for the young players, it seems to him that there's no point of going to Gor Mahia if you're not gonna get paid. Just go to a place where you're gonna get paid and enjoy your football.
But Imran, mlikuwa mnasema nini last week? Kuna watu wako na sleeve specialist. Na bado
Yeah, but okay, but we're looking at the context of Kenya, and you know, you want exposure, you want to play in the highest leagues and against the best teams, and God offers you that, you know. You play in the CAF Confederations Cup, the CAF Champions League.
That's more reason why they should be paid. But anyway, tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think. Should young players go to Gor Mahia, or should they just shun it altogether? All right. Thank you. Now, we just want to talk about kidogo, about COVID and the impact it has on football. We have seen that players have not been paid their allowances, their salaries. Other teams have not been paid in 5 months, in 6 months. It's really unfortunate. But players in Kakamega Homeboys are doing something different, you know, just to adapt to the situation and to, you know, continue earning a living here and there. So several players have been engaged in different businesses in order to fend for their families. And Solomon Mwinyi currently sells second-hand clothes in Kakamega. Ali Bai is a carpenter, and who else? Benson Muchonyi works at a construction site as a foreman, which is really good, and we just want to urge other KPL players to adapt right now, because times are tough, and each one of us, times are tough. You just have to adapt, and so that you just don't get into a point of depression, because we don't know when football is going to return, guys. So guys, adapt kidogo. And I really like what those Kakamega Homeboys players are doing.
Yeah, for me, Alibai ni fundi, both on and off the pitch. Both on and for me, as in, it just shows there's some inspiration. If one door shuts, another one opens. So don't just sit there and say, okay, football is not there now, so I'm falling into depression, I'm not making anything. It's hard to start a business, but try and get something going for yourself. Answer kuuza majezi, train kids here and there. Just do something to earn a living. As in, there are a lot of things you can do. It's not easy. It's easier said than done. Like me nikisema tu hivyo unashanga sasa what will I do? It's hard to start something going, to get something going, but just try, talk to your friends as a team, unaweza come up, combine and get a business started. Mwana is Mwinyi is selling second-hand clothes, and the other guy is a foreman. And for me, he's actually keeping fit. Akirudi sasa next season atakuwa na bonda watu mbaya, because amewaka kwa construction site. Push up ma wheelbarrow, although amesema like he deals with he oversees everything in the construction, like, you know, to ensure everything is in place. Hakuna kitu imeibiwa. So but anyway, he's still keeping fit and working at the same time. So kudos to those three.
I just say I recommend anybody who is able to make ends meet. It's not the legend sema. So you guys, all the best. Just maybe look for what you can do. If you can't do it individually, maybe look for something you can do as a group.
Also, we just want to give a special mention to KEFWA and to Jeff Kinyanjui for delivering a motorcycle to Jeremiah Wanjala, who was diagnosed with cancer. Imran, what can you tell us about that? I mean, we just have to give them a special mention there. Guys, that is really good.
Ashinga maze.
James Tuma, you did a commendable job. Jeff Kinyanjui, shukran sana. I think you guys are having a major impact. You guys are having a major impact in the lives of footballers, and just keep on doing that. Inspire other people to also chip in what they can and help the footballers who are suffering out there, because there are many footballers who are suffering. Last time we saw in Balambala, you know, he lost his eyesight, but you know, guys came through and they paid the bill. So I'm really happy that you guys did that for him, and for anybody else who wants to contribute, you know, just play a part.
You asked me about my thoughts, and for me, if I start talking about Jeff Kinyanjui, I think I'll have to dedicate like a full series, not even an episode, to talk about him. But I'd really commend him for the job, because he's the one who started the fundraiser, and they raised 13,000, and KEFWA came on board, bought the motorcycle, and they gave Wanjala 13,000 to cater for his medical bills. And the motorcycle will also be used, it will be a business for the player, and the profits from the business will be used to cater for the medical bills. And for me, it's a really good initiative. Like, we shouldn't wait for people to maybe pass on or wait to a situation where we can't do anything more, then we start maybe having fundraisers for them. So let's start it early, and some of these sponsorship deals are like a step towards solving some of these challenges before they come to happen. So kudos to those two. And also aside from that, as in there are a lot of charitable things that are happening. There is Wanyama building a home in Korogosho slums, and there was actually a lady who was given a house, I think was it on Wednesday. And there's also Kahata who's building a house for his former coach. Ozito, they did some donations, which is quite commendable. So
even Nairobi City Stars.
Yeah, even Nairobi City Stars, they're doing something in Kawangware. So give back to the community. And sometimes tunashanga mbona mafans wako kwa stadium, but they don't feel attached to these things. But some of these community projects make you feel part of the team. Like, for example, if a team from my place came and maybe gave me some shopping or gave me their jersey, I'd feel part of the team, and I'll feel honored to go and watch them. Like there was, I read something in Italy that in every kid that is born in Bergamo, they send a jersey.
Atalanta sends a jersey. Yes.
Atalanta sends them a signed jersey, and you feel part of the club. Like if your kid got a jersey, as in atakuwa nakumbuka, he'll be seeing pictures when he was born akona jersey Atalanta. I'll feel part of the club. I'll go watch them. So commendable, guys. Let's continue with that spirit, and hopefully we'll drive fans back into the stadium.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it from us. Till next time. Bye bye.
Adios.
Adios, amigos.